All right, gents, this video is going to make you uncomfortable, but in the best possible way, because I'm going to show you that the way that you've been dressing isn't just a style problem. It's a symptom of something bigger. And by the end of it, you're going to have a clear picture of who you actually are now and a concrete system to start dressing like a man. Serious question, look at the fashion being sold to men right now. Oversized hoodies, baggy silhouettes, baggy everything, silhouettes that look like a 14-year-old schoolboy's uniform. Look at the most pushed men's fashion right now on every major platform and ask yourself, who does this serve? Because it's not serving you. Meanwhile, men who command respect every room that they walk into, the ones who get taken seriously at work, who carry themselves with authority, those men do not look like they raided a teenager's wardrobe. There is a version of manhood that this society, this culture right now is trying to suppress and make you feel embarrassed about, and dressing well is a major part of it. On this video, we're going to talk about why society has a vested interest in making you look like a teenage boy and how this shows up directly in the clothes being sold to you. And I'm going to give you a step-by-step process for figuring out your actual aesthetic as a man, your style, and how you should start dressing today. And so you can start dressing intentionally instead of the 22-year-old boy you used to be. Understand right now that there is a war being waged against men taking themselves seriously. Your style is a signal. Who you are to the world, how you show up, whether you command respect. A man in his 40s who dresses like a teenager isn't communicating that he's fun and youthful. All he's communicating is that he doesn't take himself seriously, that he isn't someone to be respected, that he isn't someone to be taken note of. Right now, there is a war against you. Socially or algorithmically and commercially, the culture right now rewards men who stay passive, distracted, addicted to porn, essentially an adolescent. You're gaming, you're not going out, you're not showing up for yourself, you're not showing up for your family, right? The content is designed to keep you scrolling, and this is not an accident. Men who take themselves seriously, who invest in the way that they look, how they carry themselves, how they show up, are harder to sell cheap dopamine to. What the fashion industry is actually selling you right now, think about it. Oversized, shapeless, again, 14-year-old schoolboy uniform silhouettes. They are pushing you towards clothes that erase your physicality and that erase your authority. The man buying a $20 oversized hoodie thinks he's looking youthful, but really, he's actually being sold something that costs almost nothing to make and communicates nothing about him. Here's the thing, looking like a boy is comfortable. That's the problem. And here's the uncomfortable truth, baggy clothes are easier. They hide your body that you haven't been working on. They don't require thought. They don't invite judgment. They let you stay invisible. And invisible feels safe, but invisible also means unserious. And unserious means you get treated accordingly at work, socially, romantically, everywhere. The decade you froze in and why. Essentially, you stopped evolving at the point where you felt most socially accepted. For guys my age, I'm in my mid-30s, that's circa the late 90s and the early 2000s. Baggy jeans, band tees, DC sneakers, etc. Skate shoes, whatever you want to call it, right? These clothes, they carry good memories, but you are not that person anymore. Wearing these clothes now in your 40s or your 30s or your 50s is not nostalgia, it's avoidance. You need to understand this. You are avoiding the man that you are, you're avoiding the man that you need to become. How do we fix that? This is what we do. First of all, identity audit. Who are you? Here's the three things that you need to identify. Identify who you were, identify who you are now, and identify who you want to be seen as. How you dress should be communicating who you are as a man right now and who you want to be. The teenage boy who used to dress like that, he's gone. Bury him. You need to start acting and dressing accordingly for the man who you are and the man that you want to be. You want to be dressing so that you command respect when you walk into a room, so that you command respect with the opposite sex, so that you command respect when you're walking down the street. Bury the boy who hasn't grown up. The next core thing that you need to do is identify who you should be looking at. These aren't influencers. This isn't Fashion Week. This is men your age living the life that you want. You need to understand the way that they dress, understand the way they carry themselves. You need to start emulating that, start mimicking that, start building a reference file of what a man in his 30s, 40s, and 50s who's got his shit together looks, acts, and dresses like. Most men have never done this deliberately. You need to do it now. One of the core ways that I do this, right, and just hold the eye roll for a second, is building your Pinterest board, okay? This is how you find your aesthetic. Spend 20 minutes a day curating your style. This is about education as much as it is about inspiration, right? You need to start looking at the aesthetic that you want to acquire, the aesthetic you want to attain, save 40 or 50 images, creating that aesthetic, and after a while, the pattern becomes obvious. Then you will see what you need to do to fix your wardrobe to start dressing like the man that you want to be. Once that's done, compress it into 3 words. Find 2 or 3 adjectives, descriptive words that describe the look, whether it's elegance, whether it's tailoring, whether it's understated, whether it's rugged, etc., whether it's dark, unstructured. You need to create or develop 3 core words that help you understand your look, so that way when you're going shopping, you can find those pieces. One other core aspect is mimic the blueprint and then make it yours. To start with, especially if you've never done this before, you're going to be copying, and that's okay, right? There was a quote that is something like, don't exactly quote me on this, but like, good artists create, great artists steal. You want to be looking at the people in your life online that have elements of what you want to attain, mimic that, and then add your own flair to it. In my case, my own flair is things like my jewelry, my necklaces, my shoes, and my sunglasses. That's what I do to add my own flair to my particular looks, but it's got a base aesthetic that I always come back to that creates the foundation for my look and what I want to do, okay? Reverse engineer the logic. Once you've found the 2 or 3 men whose aesthetic you like the most, and then add your flair to it. Something to finish on is dressing well is an act of respect. This isn't vanity, this isn't superficiality. How you dress is a declaration of how seriously you take yourself, but it's also a declaration of how everyone around you and how seriously they should take you. The culture today wants you soft, they want you weak, they want you in the basement jerking off to porn, they don't want you taking yourself seriously, they don't want you dressing well, they don't want you to express your physicality, they don't want you to express your authority. How you dress directly demonstrates basically every single one of those facts. If you're in your 30s and your 40s and your 50s, you need to start dressing like a man. Here's the roadmap on how to do it. Have some respect for yourself, gents. Dress well, get some.